I'm not even ready for this.
Oh, there you are.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back
Jordan
to Get
Jordan
Your
forgets
Paint
what we
On.
do every Thursday.
Because we haven't done it in like a month. Welcome back to Get Your Paint On, everybody. Thanks for joining us. As you may notice, we have a new setup a little bit here, thanks to our very own Tony Konachek.
Yeah, let's do a little. We give him a little tour so you can see
a little bit of a...
Yeah, move your paper though.
What paper?
The paper, your notes.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap. Oh, oops.
So we got the palette cam
got a
back.
palette cam now.
Actually, the good palette cam that you can see, we had one a long time ago, but the quality was not that great. So now we have something a little better, a little clearer, so you don't have to do demos on your hand and random pieces of paper anymore. People
Pardon
can
me,
follow
this is all from working yesterday, but I haven't got a chance to clean it.
And then we'll be able to go to this view.
Also,
You're showing-
forgot to introduce our other guest, Will Hungerford.
What?
Wait, who?
That guy.
What?
That one. Mhm.
Hello.
Yep. All right, so a couple of announcements, folks. As usual, we have our streaming schedule, which Dev Hangout Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Get Your Paint On. Thursdays, 10 a.m. We've got Staff Showdown monthly. I don't know if we have one scheduled yet.
We are confirming it, but I believe we have one for I don't have the date in front of me. I want to say it's like the 15th or the 18th of August. It's like right in the middle of August.
So just shortly after we get back from Gen Con?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Primecast Live, which is also to be determined, I believe.
Yes.
So more information on that in the coming weeks. We will be going this week, next week, and then I believe we'll be gone for Gen Con the week after.
Yes, we will not. We will
So
not
we
have
have
a
2
Gen
more
Con.
weeks, right?
Right.
Okay. So we will not be doing anything the week of Gen Con. Next, we got the Hobby and Terrain blog. Danny is continually updating this, even post lock and load with some new projects that he's working on. Just some cool tutorial stuff for all the hobby side of the terrain that gets built here. So go ahead and check that out. Give it a follow.
I had not seen that photo yet.
That's
Yeah.
a lovely
look-
photo.
Manic.
Yeah, that
Do I
that
always
gentleman on the right hand side screaming loudly.
do
Will
I
Hungerford.
always
our-
look like that?
Our very own. You are the one and only.
My God.
You often look like that.
I apologize for nothing.
All right, and then we've got our mini crates. We've got a few of them here, so we're going to go through them all. We've got the Midwinter Night's Dream, which ends on July the 19th. So get your subscriptions in here pretty quick to get a hold of that. With the VIP subscription, Bride of Arcadius, which are free with your 6-month subscription. And we've got the L5R mini crate, which got Hida Kisada of the Crab Clan, and Shosuro Sadako, which is the 6-month VIP subscription as well. And then moving on to our new mini crate, which we announced at Lock and Load, which is our Savage mini crate, which characters of Robert E. Howard. Got Dark Agnes is our first month, and the VIP subscription model is King Conan on his fancy little throne.
Nice.
Are you going to paint one of those on Get Your Paint On?
I'm not sure yet.
You should.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think we plan to do one of the Savage mini crates in August.
Yeah, okay, I know we were talking
what we're
about
planning
it.
on,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure how far that came along,
Yeah.
but that will be coming up soon. Then we've got Mompoc My Store, which I'm going to have Hungerford talk about here
Yeah,
real
tell us
quick.
what this is.
Sure. Yeah.
give us
So
a
we're
little
running
bit.
this contest, and it's really cool. So the Crush Hour kits are the kits you get to run Monster Apocalypse tournaments or leagues in your store. We actually put up new rules to run Mompoc Slow Grow leagues. In the Crush Hour kit has always been an alternate sculpt miniature of one of the buildings. First, it was the Privateer Press HQ, which was an alternate corporate headquarters. And the most recent one is the Donut Shop, which is an alternate industrial factory. The idea is we want the prizes for Mompoc events to be playable. They're basically playable trophies. And because you can run 4 of any building in the game, it gives you incentive to go and play multiple events. Like if you win the first place prize, you win another first place prize. Like you can use both in a single game. That's really cool. So the next building we're going to do, we're going to base off of an actual retailer store. So all the details, you can go read all like the rules and everything. They're on our social media. But the idea is that stores will be able to enter this contest. The winner, we're going to take their store, and we're going to make it into the next building. So if their physical location looks good enough to make into a store, which probably means like it's a standalone building, we'll do that. If it's a store that like wouldn't make a good model, like let's say it's a place inside a mall or something like that, what we'll do is we'll take the store's name and we'll create something based off that. So like the store's name was like Dragon's Lair or like Jimmy's Super Games. We will come up with a concept that looks like a building based off of that. So it's a way for a store to get immortalized in Monster Apocalypse and then have their location destroyed.
Yeah, and if you want your store to be immortalized or your FLGS, then tell them about this promotion.
Yep.
And take pictures of playing games.
If you want all
doing
the
stuff.
if you want all the details, what I recommend is go to Privateer Press's Facebook and Twitter. And there are recent posts pointing to the contest, all the rules, and what you need to do. And just go read up on all of it. Just take those social media posts and share them with your local stores so they can read up. And yeah, it's as easy as literally taking up photos of like events from Monster Apocalypse, using the hashtag MonPocMyStore and posting it up to us. But if they want to get all the deets, it's all there.
Sounds good. Jordan.
All right.
Let's
now,
introduce today's miniature. That's not what we wanted.
That's not what we wanted. What are
Here
you
we
doing
go.
over there,
We'll do
Tony?
this instead. It's been a tick. We haven't been doing this for a few weeks.
Hi, sorry to bother you guys.
So we're live right now. Out, please. Out. Thank you. That was random.
Okay. All right. So we got Black Bela here, guys. This is actually the studio model.
For those that missed it, we had a guest come by.
Yeah.
That,
Uninvited.
Ignored the do not enter signs on the door.
They're somebody visiting the company, and yeah, that happens sometimes.
Cool. That's weird.
We'll do it live.
Yeah, so we got Black Bela here. This is, like I said, the studio model. So I'm just going to be painting this up on stream for you guys today.
Sounds good.
Tony, I think we got the color concepts.
We do. You want to? We'll pull it
Yeah,
up right now.
bring that up.
And sorry, I missed that in the flurry of door opening. Did you mention that you are painting up the studio version of this today?
Yes, this
Okay.
is the studio model, which I have not gotten around to painting quite yet. So we're going to...
So for people that don't know, Black Bela is an upcoming Riot Quest model. She is Black Bela, the Duchess of Dread, a black-hearted pirate that is running about, and while other people are scavenging and looting for survival or for, kind of like personal gain or whatever it might be, she's just out there being greedy, being sort of evil and wicked. She is like the classic sort of like cartoon villain in my mind. One thing I like about her is in this post-apocalyptic world of Riot Quest, she's so clean. Like her armor and her outfit is not like a lot of the other scavengers and the heroes in Riot Quest have sort of a like, I don't want to say dirty look to them, but definitely like, things have gone bad. Mm-hmm. She looks like things have just gotten better for her. Like the armor plates are really nice and shiny and clean. And like, she looks like she's upgraded recently with bits and pieces that she's gotten and sort of like strapped them all on. And
Like this apocalypse is like she's in her element now.
like, yeah, she's queen of the apocalypse.
Okay. And is she the first fighter?
She is the first fighter releasing.
Okay.
But we're actually going to spoil her rules for Riot Quest and War Machine Hordes later on in the stream. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jordan. I just wanted to go
no, you're fine.
Go over who it is we're talking about.
Yeah, you definitely have a little bit more knowledge in that than I do. So good for you to be here and talk about it, so we all can learn more about Riot Quest. Yeah,
You wanted to say it. You wanted to go Riot Quest. Just do it. Just lean into it. It's fine.
All right. So I'm just going to keep on working on this base-coated white cloth here. And I'm using a little bit of Troubled highlight and a little bit of Bash and Gray to kind of pull forward the shadows and the midtones. And then I'm going to deepen the shadows and go to the highlights afterwards. So that's kind of the game plan for what I'm working on right now. And we'll go from there.
What size brush are you wearing or using?
I'm
size
not
brush are you
wearing
wearing?
anything.
What size brush are you using?
I'm using a size 1.
Okay.
Yes, it's a size 1 Winsor Newton is what I'm using right now.
So, yeah, Tony, to answer your question, she is the first fighter hero being released for Riot Quest because there's 6 classes. Mm-hmm. The starter box comes with 5 of the 6 classes. You don't have to have all 6 to play. In fact, when you build a team, you could build a team of just like 1 or 2 types of class if you want to. but the first fighters coming out is Black Bela, followed by Ursus, the Chained, and Captain Crawtooth. They're all fighters. What's interesting about a fighter is that most of the fighters are a little bit like tankier, and fighter's specialty in Riot Quest is getting up close and dealing melee damage in some form or fashion, and having some kind of melee utility usually. Like Captain Crawtooth can drag people across the board and stuff like that. But Black Bella's sort of like lot in life is that she's one of the fastest models in the game, and she is the only model in the first 30 heroes that has the equivalent of free strikes, because there's no free strikes in the game. In fact, if you want, I can just go over her Riot Quest rules real fast, and we'll do her.
Sorry about that.
We'll do her War Machine rules later. So in Riot Quest, she's speed 6, which is
that's one of the reasons that I've taken her a lot when we were doing playtesting, because being able to move around the board quickly and
she's
where it
crazy
needs to be.
fast. Yeah. Like the average speed is 4. So she moves 6 hexes when she runs. You give her like hyperspring boots as a gear to make her faster, or the translocator to teleport around, and like she could be wherever she wants to.
She's just in your face.
She's just in your face.
Yeah.
Defensively, her defense stats are 4-5, so slightly above average. Most people are 3-5, and she's 3 stamina, which is average stamina. The being slightly higher defense is important because one of her abilities is sidestep, which Gubbin also has. That says, and usually that's like a rogue style ability. But sidestep says if you miss her with an attack, she gets to move 3 spaces. Mm-hmm. So not only is she one of the fastest characters, but if you ever miss her and she's above average defense, she gets to sort of like dodge around, so she can go wherever she wants to. As a fighter, she has charge. All fighters have charge, which says if you move before you attack, you get an extra red dice.
Right.
And given how fast she moves, she's going to do that. But then her unique, like super unique rule that's not on any of the other 30 initial heroes is called Dirty Fighter. And what it says is if an enemy spends a die to run and they're adjacent to Bela, before they run, Bela's controller rolls a red die. And whatever the results are, 1 or 2 strikes or none, however many strikes you roll, that hero takes that much damage before they run. And it could just kill them.
So that's like in a game, Black Bela is just running like a crazy person, getting into contact with
whoever she wants.
And then once she's in contact with them, if that person tries to run away, she hammers on them first.
Yeah, and it's not an attack
Potentially,
roll. It's not even an attack roll. It's just roll a red die, you do that much damage to them, which can kill them. And if they activate that hero, they're like, okay, first thing I do is run. And you're like, I dirty fighter you, and you kill them. Then their turn's just over, and it goes back to you.
I mean, that because of that power die roll with the 2, being able to potentially roll 2 strikes means that you could potentially one-shot a smaller character trying to run away from her.
And there's no attack roll. So like Gubbin, who's defense 5-6, but he's only 2 stamina, like you can just murder a Gubbin. So then you add on this that she only has melee attacks, she doesn't have any range attacks, and she has dueling blades, which are range 1 hex away, like most of the Riot Quest melee attacks. But they're 2 blues and 2 reds base. So she hits really freaking hard, and when she charges, she rolls 2 blues and 3 reds, which means on average she's hitting 4 defense without trying. Easily can spike up to 6 or 7. She's like one of the characters that if you need to super damage one of the construct characters that have like the 8 defense for super damage, like Bela can do it. You throw telescoping blades on her, Shard of Wrath Rock, anything that bumps that even higher, and like she's a real menace. Okay. Like She's the dexterity fighter, is the way I like to, that is her whole concept. She's not the brute force fighter. She is the get in your face as fast as I want to and sort of beat you through speed and technique. Somebody on Twitch chat's asking, reds have 2 blanks? No, red dice only have 1 blank. Whites have 3 blanks, blues have 2, and reds have 1. So yeah, in terms of Riot Quest, she's definitely a really good addition to any crew.
Yeah. And to Yes, I'm the Hidden Elephant, can you spend red dice in a non-combat fashion? Are they earned? No, not really. They're all situational. So
yeah. You can get some added if you put gear on a character.
Yeah.
Ed Burrell on Facebook has a question for you. Ed Burrell.
Who? Okay, I don't know that name.
You don't know Ed?
No.
He used to be the creative director here. Me and him went to the same. We were press gangers at the same game store. I play with him on Wednesdays at a local Seattle game club. He's a really good guy. You've been to his house with me.
Maybe if I saw him, I'd remember.
Ed Burrell has a question for you, Jordan, on Facebook. He says, where are the little bricks on her base from?
So the bricks on the base are basically plaster that was poured into like a blister, and then it was dropped and cracked, and then I just got a big bucket of it that I crunch up and use as basing material for the Monpok models. that's it. That's all it is. Super simple.
People asking about the weapons on her. Yeah, she basically has a pair of. So in Riot Quest, they're just called dueling blades. In War Machine, she does have 2 separate attacks, which we'll go over her War Machine rules later. But she has a sword and a dagger, effectively. She has like a rapier and a parrying dagger. Because she's a duelist. She doesn't use any guns. She is, again, that traditional high agility, high dexterity style fighter, right? Like a traditional fencer, almost. I'm going to get in there, stick you a couple times, then bounce away wherever I want to.
So it looks like you're hitting those highlights, Jordan.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I've been pretty bad about giving you the colors. Just been focusing on this. But so I'm using, for the mid-tone, the base color is Troubled Highlight. If Tony wants to do the
Give me just a
splooshes.
second here.
The shade is Bashing Gray. And the deep shade is Thornwood Green, a little bit of Coal Black, and a touch of Thamer Black.
Did you say Thamer or Thornwood Green?
Yeah, Thornwood, Coal Black, and a touch of Thamer.
What was the base you put down to start all this?
Troubled Highlight.
Troubled Highlight?
Yeah,
Is that where you started with?
Yeah, it's a really nice, like, kind of not neutral, but it's like a warm gray color. It's a little bit in the, like, brown.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're painting white, right? Which
Right.
traditionally, like, it's one of the boogeymen of painting.
Right.
White and yellow have
Yep.
always been the ones people were like, oof. So, and I found the same thing, like, when I've been painting white on a few models recently, I haven't been using Troubled Highlight, but using a base paint that is not actually white.
Yeah, like, I've talked a little bit about this before on stream, and one of the big things when you're painting white is don't paint with white. Like, white is not... You don't get enough color, for one. It ends up looking, like, really flat and really boring. Using different colors, like, colorful grays and such like that, will give you a much more impressive looking white than what you would normally get if you just painted with, like, Mara white or Menoth white highlight.
Yeah. I actually recently have only been using traditional, like, straight whites, like Mara white, as highlights only.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can use it for, like,
final
really
edge
strong...
highlights.
Yeah, exactly.
And also good for dry brushing. A couple questions about Bela as a character. They're asking if she's a descendant from anyone like Shay or Fiona. She is not. She is a Thamerite. So she's not a descendant of Fiona, but maybe she has worked with Fiona. In fact, when we go over her War Machine rules, one of the first things I'll just tell you now, she is a mercenary privateer Thamerite solo.
Mercenary privateer Thamerite.
Yep. So she works in both Talion and the new Warriors of the... not Warriors of the Old Faith, Flame of the Darkness theme force, because she's a Thamerite.
So I'm just going in here and I'm lining some of these creases and kind of like, I'm not sure what these are called, but like there's 2 pinstripes that go down the front of her jacket here, where like the fold happens. And I'm just lining this with the deep shadow color just to kind of pull that shape out, because it's kind of hard to see when it's all the same color.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see it when I'm lining it here on this, right there. Got a little bit on the top there. And then I'm going to go on the other side.
She looks so sassy.
Yeah. She's definitely in control of the situation.
The question is, do you think that eye patch is for fashion, or is she actually missing an eye?
Oh, she's definitely missing an eye.
You think so?
I don't know. Like, I mean, does fashion have much place in the apocalypse?
Look at her. She clearly thinks so.
Yeah, keeping it together. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, she clearly thinks like otherwise she'd just be wearing like the absolute best armor she could find. But like she's well dressed.
Okay.
She also puts her hair up. Like
is it like a power patch?
You maintain hair. Like hair doesn't just do that, right? Like she maintains that.
Sure. Also,
she's wearing heels.
Yeah.
So like clearly fashion matters to her.
She's a classy.
It's got to be hard
lady
to walk around with all the rubble in places. Takes practice.
Yeah. I imagine either that she's wearing the eye patch as a fashion statement, or she's missing an eye. And if she is missing an eye, I wonder if she hides treasure
In her eye?
in her eye socket,
I mean,
like a little bit of gold doubloons.
intellectually, it's a great hiding place.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think to look there.
The face
But
pocket.
Is it?
His pocket.
The good old face pocket.
Oh God.
Maybe she keeps a really small stiletto in there. You know, so if she ever gets disarmed and they've got her like kidnapped or tied up, she just pulls her stiletto out of her face pocket and cuts herself free.
No, she has one that goes just like pokes out. Just like so when you head at somebody, you actually just kill them.
Oh, she has a spring-loaded stiletto in her eye pocket?
Yeah.
You just flip up the patch.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking with bacon.
Yeah.
Let's see what chat thinks about all that.
What one thing I do want to know, or that you can talk about, Jordan,
Yeah.
is the difference in approach painting a studio model versus what we normally do when we're just kind of painting for fun. So what are some of the things that you're having to consider here as you paint that you might not normally?
I think the considerations are mostly the same, just because it's just kind of the way I paint. But I think it's more of like making sure everything's a lot more defined and has really good contrast, so that it reads on the photography. Like thinking about the camera is definitely one thing that I do a lot in my regular work, that I don't necessarily think of as much when I'm streaming, just because it's not a model that's going to get photographed. Like the model's on camera, obviously, but the model isn't necessarily going to have a photo be taken and put up on the website after, which is, or put on a box for that matter, right? So like thinking about the shot where the model is going to get its photo taken from. So like, for example, right, this model is pretty like two-dimensional, right? So there's no things that jut out from the front and back. So the model's probably going to have its photo taken somewhere in like this range. So my guess is it's probably going to be somewhere around here, which means that I want to make sure that this detail here is all super well defined. Make sure that like this arm is well defined and this dagger is. Make sure her face is really well defined, and then I don't have to worry about the stuff on this side or on her back quite as much. Obviously, still work on it, still make it clean, but you really want the focal points and the really strong contrasting elements be in the face, because that's where you want somebody's eye to start with, and then kind of travel down the model, and you kind of want to direct somebody's eye, right? So, and using, colors and contrast is a way of pushing somebody's eye in some direction. So having really bright facial features that are a totally different color than everything else, right, will push your eye to the face first. And then from there, you can see the really shiny shoulder pad, and then you can see this really crisp, clean, white uniform, right? And then, going on to the silver dagger or whatever. So things like that are things that I think about specifically when I'm working on studio models, that I don't usually think as much about when I'm painting for the tabletop or for other things. Most of the time when I'm thinking about other models, I'm just thinking about making sure everything is about the same.
Are you excited about painting her super bright hair?
Yeah, her like magenta hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into that.
It's like
Totally
super
into that.
vivid.
Yes.
So Ponto Hornblower on Twitch has a question that I'll jump into right first. He says, will the conversion rules for Riot Quest be the same as they are in War Machine? So the conversion rules for Riot Quest are actually more similar to Monster Apocalypse, which is that you can convert the model kind of however you want to, especially for Riot Quest. There's only one of each hero, as long as you maintain that it is that hero. And it basically is going to follow the golden rule. Like, it's still got to be majority parts Privateer Press stuff. You can use stuff from the War Machine Hordes line. You can use stuff from the Monster Apocalypse line if you wanted to, honestly. But at the end of the day, if you take the model and you walk up to your EO You don't give them any context. You don't even tell them you're playing Riot Quest, like nothing. You just show them the model. Can they tell you what it is? If the answer is yes, you're good to go. So if you took Bela and you replaced her sword and her dagger with like a pair of axes or whatever, totally fine for Riot Quest. Different for War Machine. War Machine has a little bit tighter conversion policy, mainly in terms of swapping weapons. So if you're going to convert her, if you're only playing her for Riot Quest, I think you can go a little bit crazier because you're not playing a giant army-sized game with 40, 50 models on the board where players need to be able to very easily identify everything. And if you're playing War Machine, just keep the War Machine-specific conversion rules in mind.
Oh, man.
One thing I did want to mention is I want to do a quick call out to Alec, who sent us a box of candies and chocolates from Germany.
Yeah,
Yep.
didn't some of them have booze in them?
We had some of them, this
Yeah.
morning. That was a surprise. But
Yep.
Alec, thank you very much. It was very
Yeah.
generous sending
It
that
was,
box over.
It was a good time for sure.
Like a lot of booze. Nate, not like this is a liqueur candy, right? Like you bite into one of those.
It
and you're
just
like,
kind of it was liquid, and it just kind of fell out.
it was
when
like
you
a
bite into
gusher
it.
full of rum.
Yeah.
Is effectively what it was with a small candy shell.
That was a surprise, to say the least.
Have you ever played Wasabi Roulette?
No, but that sounds like fun.
So it's certain restaurants do it. You go and you sit down, and basically at the end, you want to do it with a larger group, usually at least 8 people. You get these little pastries, and they put the platter down in front of you, and everybody grabs one, and everyone eats one simultaneously. All but one of them are filled with this really delicious chocolate or vanilla or whatever. And one of them, and imagine like an eclair, like a small eclair. One of them is filled to the brim with wasabi.
This sounds awesome.
Yeah, and so you all bite it simultaneously, and while 7 of the people at the table were like, num, 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 you look for the one person that everything is turning red. There's liquid coming out of every part of their face pockets, and they're just dying inside. And then what you do is you finish eating your dessert, and you point at them, and you all laugh. So it's Schadenfreude, the social activity. I think we should do it at Gen Con.
Well, I was going to say, like, when we go to Gen Con, we were talking about her and Izzy's earlier.
Yeah.
We kind of do a similar version of that, minus the roulette. We just go straight to
We just
fill your face with the cocktail sauce and
Yeah.
just laugh at the other person having a horrible time, and then eating it yourself.
Yeah.
I think the
right
trick
afterwards.
That stuff is
is
so
to be-
delicious.
to get the people who have never been
Yeah.
to go with us and have them try it.
Yeah,
And
love-
have them have the first
I love that
reaction.
cocktail sauce.
it's one of the things I really look forward to for Gen Con. We go to the con, and then when we're all torn down, the nice peaceful lunch with the burn your face off cocktail sauce.
So we're about the halfway mark through the
Yeah.
stream. So I think it's about time because we said we were going to spoil both the Riot Quest rules, which we've already done for Bela, and we're going to spoil the War Machine rules for Bela.
Let's have an interlude before that.
Let's do it. Okay, let's do
Okay.
the interlude and then let's spoil things.
Let's
away.
take Jordan. Are you ready to do some P3 painters?
Yeah, let's
take
do
a
it.
look at some images. Okay, so if you don't know P3 painters, if you send photos to Instagram or Facebook or Twitter using the hashtag P3 painters of models that you have painted, we take a look at those and we pick some ones every week that we enjoy and kind of stand out to us a little bit, and we show them on the stream and talk about them. So the first one is this one right here. So this comes from Arcane Steam Studio. It's the Man of War Suppression Tanker.
That boy has been fighting a lot of Daughters of the Flame.
Just the battle damage on this is very cool.
Yeah. It looks like 3 units of Daughters of the Flame just charged that dude, and he's still standing. He's like, I got cuts everywhere, but I don't care.
But yeah, this bad boy's been out there for a while. So a lot of times I see battle damage is just kind of, scratch here, little detail there just to kind of add. And then this one has just gone all out. He has seen some action.
What if there's not scratches? What if those are signatures?
Signatures?
Yeah, all his other Man-O-War buddies have signed his armor, and they use silver Sharpie. And those are just little signatures scribbled all over. You can't unsee it now. It's there, see?
Frank, you want to get in on this?
It's like signing your cast, but you're signing your death trap armor. That looks awesome. I love the shading at the bottom of the shield.
Yeah, very nice.
The
It's
shading's
it's
really
a really
nice
nice
at the
job. All right, let's take a look at this next one. This is a big boy.
This is awesome.
Yeah, from Ace of Paint SPL.
I'm a big fan of a lot of things going on here. I like the conversion. The conversion's cool.
Yep.
I like the those are Victor legs, right? Or Victor Conquest legs,
I believe so. Man, there's so much going on this model.
Mm-hmm. I like the Vulcan freehand with the
Yeah, there we go.
saluting. Yeah, which is super
There's a
cool.
That's
Close up.
absurd.
I love this. I've been seeing some more of this on
P3
some other models, I think, from Ace of Paint as well, where they've done some freehand in that kind of World War II vehicle style.
Well, I think all of the Crucible Guard that Ace of Paint has done have
Like-
freehand like that because all the tanks have it. I
Man.
believe.
The freehand is amazing. The rust effects, sort of like the
Yeah,
corrosion
I
effects.
think the most effective thing on here is really the rust effect. It's like it's really subtle, but it's
perfect.
It reads really well.
And also, obviously, the firing weapons. You know, those catch.
those are cool.
That's the first thing I saw because it catches your eye because it's so big and flashy. But then you start looking like down at the rest of it, and you're like, oh my god! And it's like reading a book. You start at the top and you go to the bottom, and you just catch thing after thing after thing they did. This is great.
Well done. I like the filled up tubes with the liquid in them. It looks really good.
All right, so yeah, look at the drippy rust here on the back shoulder.
Yeah, like that back shoulder that you're pointing to right now, I think is like one of the better parts, right?
Yeah.
Like it's got that dirty, worn look, but it also has the like dripping rust. It just looks really natural.
That's awesome, Ace of Paint. Thank you. Keep sending them in. All right, we got last one.
This is from Tyson.
My man Tyson.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
This is the second I saw it. Like, this is Tyson.
Yeah. So he actually just finished up his display table.
Okay.
For that, or his display
Board.
board. Thank you. For it, and he had a huge little castle thing that he put on there, and then obviously put LEDs in. Looks really good.
This
It's
is
really, really well
this
done.
is super impressive.
Man, look at the clockatrice. Look at its glowing belly and glowing face.
Okay, so here's the thing: it doesn't have a working minute hand.
That's
or
fine.
hour hand. I'm not okay with that.
Oh wow! Just gonna call Tyson out like that?
I called him out on it before. He mentioned he was going to do it.
And instead, he
didn't
just
do
did
it.
all this other amazing
He
stuff.
didn't do it. He did all this other amazing stuff instead. So maybe I gotta try and one up him
Oh yeah.
and get a moving minute hand, or maybe even a fully realized clock.
I mean, good luck.
My roommate's a horologist. Let me make this happen.
Okay, this back. I have a quick.
That's what it's called.
I-
It's actually generally what the profession is called.
I understand. A lot of things went through my head, and the other half of my brain was screaming, "You can't say that on stream." So I
mean-
just shut down.
He fixes and repairs clocks and watches for a living. Excuse me.
So don't try and one up Tyson. Look at this. This is great.
No, I can't. Honestly, I do not have the technical skill, literal technical skill to do this.
Yeah, this
'Cause
whole
I
board is
don't-
amazing.
Man, LED lights are totally beyond me, but they're awesome.
I'm even trying
he
to
does a
figure
really
out
good job.
things like the glowing moon.
Yeah, that's really
in the
good.
background. Like, is it backlit from
I think
behind
it's-
and cut out, or is
no,
it
I think
just
it's
painted?
I think it's painted. Because it would have that really intense
Yeah,
glow, right?
yeah, and the
If it were-
shadows kind of
Right.
taking it off here. This is awesome. Here's a question I have because I can't quite see it, but the stem of the pumpkin
Yeah.
is either very detailed or is that a model?
I can't tell.
I can't tell.
And that's just the photo is just a little bit out of focus up at that
Yeah.
part. Well, it's not out of focus. It's just focused on other things.
Right.
So it's just hard for me to see.
I think one of my
I love
favorite
I love
things-
shots like this. I like the environment shots and certainly the LEDs.
I really
make
like
it
the glowing moons
stand
on the
out.
Dreamer.
Yeah.
That's really cool
Yeah.
to me.
No, everything about this is great. Tyson is amazing.
Nice job.
Oh, the other thing I'm going to point out because I've seen this model in person.
Yeah.
So his child, the LED is in the jack-o'-lantern in front of the child.
So it's casting a glow up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all that glow is actually glow from the LED, which is super duper cool. So yeah, well done.
Awesome, Tyson. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who submits. Keep them coming. We love seeing them, even when we don't show them on stream. We love looking at what you're working on.
Let's see what chat had to say about all that. Yeah, they also agree with you about the moon's glow. They think it's really good. So, before I go into spoilers, are you just still putting down that white armor base?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm just working on putting more contrast in the like highlights and shadows, just to pull the details out. And I will probably be working on that for the rest of the stream, to be honest. So, I mean, I'll talk a little bit about it as I'm doing it. But I'm kind of just focusing on spots that need to be pushed away from the two-dimensional space, right? Like her chest area, I'm trying to create a little bit more shape.
Yep.
This lapel, right? Trying to pull out.
See, she's fancy. She has a lapel. Well, I think the people that have been watching, waiting for some Black Bela spoilers, it's time to let them know what's up. What do you think, Tony?
Let's do it.
Or do you want another interlude? We can just keep.
No, we had the interlude.
That was the
yeah.
interlude. There
okay.
are
That
no
was-
more interludes to be had.
That was it.
No trivia facts.
Nope.
'Kay.
No trivia this week.
So, disclaimer, warning.
I don't have any warning music.
The rules I am about to discuss with everyone are currently in testing and are not final. The rules you heard for the Riot Quest version are final and is what you will see in print. Reminder, the rules I'm going to talk about right now are not final. All right, then.
We should say that again at the end.
They're pretty close to final. I mean, like, there's not much going to change. So, some of the War Machine Hordes rules for Riot Quest models are like a little bit more utility. Some are a little bit more support. Some are a little bit more tricky. A couple models are definitely more complicated, like Helga 2 and Fiora 4, which are both a Warlock and a Warcaster, so they've got a lot more going on. Widget and Bamfist, which are support models that have a lot of like cool special rules. Weird Wendell, the Gremlin Wrangler,
Right, yeah.
has a lot of really weird things he does. And then some models we want to just be straightforward. They come in, they do a thing that's cool. Maybe the armies they'll play in can't really do that or don't have a model that does do that, and we can keep them simple but be good. Mm-hmm. So Black Bela falls into the simple but good. So we wanted to create an infantry mulcher for Talion, which they don't really have in a solo. So she's a mercenary privateer Thamerite solo. She works for Crucible Guard, Crix, Signar, Kador, and Protectorate. She costs 4 points. She's got 5 damage boxes. She's a character. Okay. She's speed 6. Relevant stats will be she's speed 6. She's mat 7. She's def 15, arm 12.
Okay.
Okay. She has duelist. So in melee, she's def 17, 12. She's got tough. She's a privateer. She has riposte. So if you miss her at def 17 in melee, she gets to swing back at you.
Seems like that's going to happen a lot.
She's got 2 weapons. She's got a sword, which is Palpable Strength 10, Weapon Master, Brutal Charge. So it gets up to 12 on the charge with Weapon Master. Not bad. And then she also has the Parrying Dagger, which is Palpable Strength 8, also Weapon Master. So Weapon Master on both of her attacks. One of which goes in at a 12, the second one at an 8, and then she can riposte with Weapon Master attacks. Kind of getting like kind of a little Ashland vibe here, right? But the main rule I haven't gone over with her that fills that role we want is that she has Killing Spree. And Killing Spree, and the range on the sword is 1 inch, the range on the dagger is ½ inch. Killing Spree is the one that if she kills a model, she gets to move an inch and then make another melee attack, like Berserk.
Okay.
So she can charge in, kill a guy, and then just start going down the line of guys at mat 7. This is not including you putting like Storm Rager on her from Shay or any other benefits that she can get. Because remember, she's going to work in both Talion and Hearts of Darkness. But what we've created is like a Kayazi mini Ashland style fighter in the terms of like the really high melee defense, and then they hit you back if you miss me. But her goal is to get into infantry with that Weapon Master attack and just chew through a line of dudes. And she does all this independent of anyone else. So she's also just a solid merc choice in a lot of other theme forces that she works for. You can just add her in for 4 points, especially in the new requisition system where she's not taking away from anything else you're doing. And she'd be like, yeah, here's this little murder machine. Deal with her. Or like, that infantry over there is just going to explode.
How's she going to mow through all that infantry without getting any blood on her snappy jacket?
She's really fast.
Yeah.
So me, I see an almost anime style. Like she's running by and she's just sort of like... And like she's like twirling around.
She's just like ahead of the blood.
Yeah, she's ahead of the blood. And at the end, she maybe like bows as the last blood squirt flies over her, and then she throws a rose out. Travis asking, what does the dagger do? The dagger's just Palpable Strength 8 Weapon Master. Her main attack is the Palpable Strength 10 Brutal Charge Weapon Master Sword, and then she just has a backup dagger that is Palpable Strength 8 Weapon Master. The reason the backup dagger basically exists is you charge in with the sword and you begin the killing spree. And if you miss or fail to kill, then you've got the backup dagger to pop a dude, and then hopefully that kills him, which then kicks off the killing spree again. It's basically your second chance.
Right.
And there we go. Those are the rules currently in testing for Black Bela for War Machine Hordes.
All rules not final.
Warning, these rules are currently in testing. These rules are not final.
I'm gonna paint some hair. Some fancy hair.
Yes, the parrying daggers is a lore thing. In fact, the name of the dagger on her card is just dagger. It's not called a parrying dagger, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of when you look at it, that's what it would be traditionally thought of. She does not have parry. Like, I think we wanted to keep her separate from Hawk, and Hawk does something very different, and we wanted Black Bela to have a very different feel. She does not support other Sea Dogs like a lot of the other Talion solos do. She is a one-off missile. Go in there, do her thing. Krennic Gaming says she's basically the child of Maxwell Finn and Ashlyn. You got it. And she just takes buffs really, really well. Any way you can get her rerolls, any way you can increase her hitting power or her, like Storm Rager on her is amazing. She is a prime Storm Rager target. But anyway, any way you can get a buff on her in some way that increases hitting power, accuracy, or even just helping to deliver her, she will get the job done. And again, only 4 points. So she's not an expensive combat solo for the amount of damage that she can put out. Look at that hair.
Yeah, let's move on to these new colors. You like moved on to a thing.
Yep.
Sorry, I was going over rules.
Base coated her face and wait for that to dry. This is Midland Flesh. And then we're doing a base coat of Murderous Magenta, which I'm actually probably going to mix with something else because base coating not so well. Let's base coat it with, we'll mix it with some Midland Flesh.
Murderous Magenta and Midland Flesh.
Yeah, I think
I've recently started using really light flesh tones to dry brush or edge highlight my dark reds.
Oh yeah,
And then hitting them with a red glaze or a wash afterwards.
Using reds or skin tones with your red highlights is actually really, really nice.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong though. In this instance, are you using the Midland Flesh to get some sort of color variation, or is it because you want the opaque coverage?
I want a little bit more opaque coverage, but it also works as sort of like a highlight as well.
Okay.
Because it's a brighter tone.
Yeah, like if you literally took like a dark red and then used that Midland Flesh, like you put it down as a dark red base, right? Like maybe a Kato red, would you say, or Sanguine?
Yeah, sanguine base.
Sanguine base.
Yeah.
And then just dry brushed it, and this could be like on like something with armor, as long as it's got well defined, edges. Dry brushed or an edge highlight using Midland Flesh, and then you go back over that with a red glaze or a red wash. It looks so freaking good, especially if you do a dry brush. And you're like, oh, I kind of got those like soft rounded highlights, and I got that chalky effect. That red glaze will just knock it out, and you'll get like a really natural looking highlight. It's super easy to do.
So Jordan, there's a question here from Alec, and I believe it's a sculpting question.
Okay, I can try and answer it.
So he's asking, how would you suggest making a big fuzzy beard for a model? I am converting a group of initiates into ZZ Top, and he can't get the beard right with green stuff.
Use real hair. Shave yourself and then glue it onto the model.
Gross.
No, sorry.
Don't do that. Don't listen
It's
to
super
him.
realistic.
Don't listen to him.
Use natural materials when possible.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not those kind of natural materials. It's like saying I'm going to use real blood when I'm using blood effects.
No, that's not healthy. Hair's healthy. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Practice. Frankly, I haven't done a lot of traditional sculpting for conversions and stuff. I would just form the beard before you put it on the dude's face, and then wait for get the shape right. Make it a little bit smaller than you want. Make the shape right, and then let it fully dry. And then texture with more putty on top of it is kind of the gist of what I understand is to be a good way to do that.
So like focus on your base form and make sure
Yeah.
that that's all looking good before you start adding all the little hair textures
Yeah,
and
exactly.
things. Okay.
Because if you try and texture it a lot of the time, when it's still wet, you're gonna give it a misshapen look because you're trying to push around and create divots in this shape, and the problem is the shape isn't dry, so it's gonna move around when you try and poke at it and stuff. So make it a little bit smaller, get that kind of shape on there, and just let it sit for a while, and then start texturing on top of it with a little less putty. But that's what I would recommend. So yeah. Let's see here.
You sleepy?
Yeah.
I'm still very sleepy.
We got to get you woke up.
Gotta get woke, son.
I need me a cup of coffee to wake me up.
The chocolates didn't do it?
No. It's if anything, it made me more sleepy. All right, this is just segment highlight. Try and kick up that opacity a little bit.
That looking good.
And so you have that base coat and you're just letting this bleed right into those, painting it over the top?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's kind of like doing a little bit of wet blending, just to get the colors to kind of mix. And a lot of this is just kind of just going with it. It's just okay, I see that this is a little desaturated. Okay, I'm going to mix in a little bit of more saturated color with the murderous magenta. Or this is really saturated, but it's not covering as well as I like. So, okay, I'm going to add a little bit more opacity to it with a darker, more desaturated color.
Okay. So this so at this stage, you're just kind of getting a general color look.
Yeah.
And then you'll start going in and picking out more specific places of shadow and highlight.
Right. And I'm doing a little bit of both, right? I still have this Midland Flesh color mixed into my palette, so what you're seeing that I'm doing right here is I'm kind of mixing that brighter color into where the highlight would be. And then I'm going to do that here on the top. And because these colors are still wet, I have the ability to mess with this without messing the model up too much.
Just live blending.
Yep.
Yeah, I can already see that form coming out very subtly.
Jordan,
Yeah.
do you paint much in your time at home?
Not as much as I'd like.
Is it hard being that you paint 8 hours a day, 5 days a week,
Yes.
to go home and then paint?
It is. I have a lot of unfinished projects that I would like to get done, but to keep my sanity in check, I try to do not work things outside of work.
So a lot of hunting and fishing.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of hunting and fishing.
I mean, I basically every chance I get go out camping and hiking and anything outdoorsy I can. So I know Ron's the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ron just lives in the outdoors.
Yeah, see, I need to live in a big city, but I want to go outdoors.
Yeah.
I've never confirmed this. Ron might live in a lean-to, like by choice. Like just him, and then a small barrier of protection against the elements, and then living off the land.
Yeah. No, I mean, Ron could do that.
Unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed. Unsubstantiated. What color are you going to do her flesh?
I'm just going to start with Midland Flesh here is the base tone.
Is there an issue, or is there any worries or anything to watch out with using Midland Flesh on her flesh when you use Midland Flesh in the hair?
Not really.
Okay.
Because I'm going to do more work to the hair that'll change that
That'll
color
change
a
it,
little
okay.
bit. Yeah. I'm using it mostly as a base coat color.
I guess what I was asking for the viewers was if you use one flesh tone in, like, say, armor or hair, should you avoid using that same color on a nearby other part, like flesh? Or
Not necessarily. Like, it can even be a good thing, right? Because if you use similar colors throughout the model, it tends to tie all the elements together, which can be a good thing.
So prime it black. Got it.
Yeah. Just prime it back, put it on the table, you're good to go.
Yeah, no.
Painted beautifully. But no, like having elements share like color tones and like levels of warmth and or coolness really helps set the like tone for the model, which is something that's relatively important.
Are you going for a cold tone with her because she's so cold-hearted?
No,
Oh.
I mean she's gonna be a little on the cooler side, but this hair is pretty warm color, so.
Well, she's a hothead with a cold heart.
She is a hothead with a cold heart. Oh, got there. Got him.
So most of her armor is pretty desaturated and muted. So she's got that nice big color pop from her hair, and then her pants are going to be purple, right?
Yeah.
Girl, gonna have purple pants.
Go lay in there real quick.
Let's see what Twitch chat is up to. Because I know we are getting towards the end of the stream.
Yeah. So if you have any questions for Jordan, now is the time because we're about 5 minutes away.
Yeah, we got a couple here. So Eric Swinson, who is a beautiful human being,
buddy.
Hey, Eric, says, "How's the Rocket Girl going, Jordan?"
Oh God.
Okay.
Don't remind me.
Martin Granger says, "What would be the best way of getting rid of glassy paint effect to make it more matted, less shiny? Is there anything that can be added to the paint, and how would it work?"
There's matte mediums that you can get, which you can mix into various different colors of paint that'll take shine out. You can also use matte varnish too, which is just a spray application or a paintbrush application for getting that shininess out of your models.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
I actually used some of that very recently.
that one requires a little bit of at least preparation in terms of if you can do it after you've done your entire model to matte the whole thing, or in the case of, especially I know, like studios talked about doing that for metals a lot, which is you matte the model to dull everything, and then you go back in and paint over that to bring back the glossy or shininess of parts you want to stand out.
Sure. A couple other questions about Black Bela. Someone's asking fluff-wise if she's Artic. She's not Artic. All that we know is that she's a pirate and she's a Thamerite. Specifically where she came from, no one is sure. She sort of showed up post-apocalypse in the Riot Quest timeline and has made herself, queen of the apocalypse, as it was. So no one is sure which of the now obliterated nations she once came from. Travis has a question for you, Jordan. How do you clean up pink on white after it dries, like on her right cuff?
Oh, like right here? I'll usually Here, I'll just do it and show you. So I usually go back in and put a little bit of a dark line in there. Which gets rid of most of it, and then I'll usually just go back in with that highlight color.
Oh, he's talking about that little spot of pink
Oh,
on her wrist
down
cuff
here?
on her sword arm.
I
Yeah.
just paint over it.
There you go.
Yeah,
Boom,
just paint over
fixed.
it. It's easy.
Riker's Iron says toothpick. I was actually, so we were talking about dull coating and now talking about toothpicks. I have not built a traditional old school model kit ever. I always did miniatures, always War Machine of Hordes and all the stuff. And so I decided to build one. And it used a lot of different painting techniques that I've never used before that I'm excited to bring over to my War Machine of Hordes models. And I ended up dull coating some stuff, which has been a long time since I've done it. But I've done it before. And just how to avoid getting that cloudy effect and things like that. But also using certain types of paints to get in the recesses, letting it dry, and then literally taking a toothpick and scraping the excess off, and then you have to put a top coat down first, and then you just scrape it off. Usually you do like a gloss coat first, do all your lining, then scrape it off, then dull coat it to bring it back down. And you can't tell that you were using a toothpick on it. It was interesting taking techniques used in model building and model painting and bringing that over to miniature painting.
Well, I'd like, my artist digression.
Yeah.
I recommend that for any miniatures painter is getting out there and trying to do gaming miniature art, anything,
Yeah.
like whether it's scale models or just traditional painting and drawing, because all of that you're going to learn techniques that are going to be added to your arsenal to bring to miniatures painting. It also goes the other way. From miniatures painting has made drawing a lot easier because you spend a lot of time looking at 3D forms,
Right.
And how paint and light affects that form is something that translates when you're doing 2D. So if you want to up your miniatures painting game, get
be
out
an
there
artist.
and go learn a different art technique.
We got
Or several.
We got a couple minutes left, Jordan, before it's time to go. Anything you wanna add or touch on?
I think we're good so far. Just kind of keep on working on this stuff. Takes a little bit of time to get this stuff done. That's why we don't usually do studio models on stream. But
How many hours do you think this model will take you till you're done?
not too long. Like, this is something that I could probably get done pretty easily in a day.
So this is an 8-hour paint job
Yeah,
for a studio model?
yeah.
Sweet.
Some take more, some take less.
Sure.
Like the splash for Get Your Paint On that we had this morning earlier, which is the Menite Archon, which I'm working on downstairs, has taken definitely more than 8 hours, but it's also quite a bit larger model and is more complicated.
Yeah, from that opening screen, if you go back and look at it, hopefully the paintbrush kind of gives it some scale, but it's a big boy.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even know if I can get it on there. I can hold it up here, yeah, doesn't give you good scale. He's bigger than this.
Taller than that coffee cup?
He's taller than the coffee cup, and in some ways wider. Like, it's a big model. Still fits on a 50 mil base though, which is cool. But it's also a lot of fire, which is always a fun thing to paint.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's about time to wrap it up.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. We will be back next week with some new fun stuff to paint. Won't be Black Bela next week, but we'll let you guys know a couple of days ahead of time, perhaps what that's going to be. And thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Will and Tony.
Anytime.
And, we'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Goodbye.
Thanks for watching.